Hi everyone and welcome to Seeblue Smarts. I'm Orla Murphy and I am the managing partner of Seeblue. We are a specialist ABM agency here in the UK and we particularly focus on one-to-few through our Accelerate framework. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by Rob Norham, someone who really needs no introduction in ABM circles, but he is a well-known ABM consultant and trainer, and also the ABM specialist in Propolis, which is the global community for B2B marketers. Rob, although I've said you need no introduction, there may be some people who don't know you or your background, so maybe you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm sure there are definitely some of those, Orla. So yeah, good to see everybody, or if you're watching this, great to meet you. I've worked in B2B marketing for over 30 years. A lot of that's been around technology, but more recently around professional services and lots of different areas. I started my career in magazine publishing with IDG Communications. I went client side to work in IT distribution, working for an Apple distributor. And for the last 20 or so years, I've actually worked as an independent marketing consultant. About 11 years ago, an ex-colleague of mine called me up and said he was doing some work for an agency who specialized in ABM. Would I be interested? And I said to him, what's ABM? And of course, the rest is history. You know, I kind of got into that world and now I specialize in account-based marketing. I've been running the ABM Essentials training course for B2B marketing for over 6 years. And as you said, Orla, you know, I'm the sort of so-called expert on ABM and growth within Propolis, which is their community. So I work, you know, clearly with clients. I work with B2B marketing and Propolis members, and I obviously collaborate, you know, with agencies when they are kind enough to ask me to.
Fantastic. It's amazing, isn't it? How chance encounters or meetings can send your career down a certain path. And you've
Definitely.
Really kind of yeah, as you say, you are the go-to and the recognized expert in ABM, certainly. And in part that was why, you know, we started the conversation, Rob, you know, in terms of looking at how Seeblue and yourself could collaborate, because you know, the topic that we're going to talk about really is about what we call ABM Change Consultancy. And you know, you and I and the team have been talking for a little while about what that means and what that looks like in the market. And you know, I'll just say where it came from our perspective, and interested to get your thoughts as well. So as we're working with clients and rolling out programs, one, we're asked always, help me train my team. Can you mentor? Can you guide me? Help me really embed this in my organization. And, you know, there's a recognition that ABM, we know, is not a program or a campaign. It's a methodology and framework and way of working that extends beyond marketing. It really touches every customer facing touch point, but actually the organization as well. It's a change of how we've worked historically when we think about our go-to-market and our demand generation strategy and approach. And that's really where it came from. How do we create a more structured way to provide that support and guidance and framework to client teams? And as I said, who better to approach to talk about formalizing that than yourself? So, you know, I guess that's where we're formally kind of communicating our intention and our the launch of this partnership and this introduction of ABM Change Consultancy. So, I mean, I'm keen to get your thoughts, Rob, on if you have seen the similar, you know, need or challenges in the clients that you speak to.
Yeah, without question. I mean, I think everybody starting off on their ABM journey is trying to work out what they need to do. And of course, we all want to be in market as quickly as possible doing some ABM. But if you take the iceberg analogy, you know, the actual program is the visible bit that breaks through the water. There's a huge amount of work that needs to be done below the waterline that a lot of people, I think, just don't get right. And simplistically, you know, that starts with defining what ABM means for your organization. It's about bringing in senior management. It's about developing a really clear strategy that's going to work on you know, or work to the needs of the business. And then, of course, there are lots of other things which we can touch on as we go through the call. But, you know, training your people, bringing sales with you, making the right decisions on accounts and so forth. So I think almost everybody I train and almost everybody I talk to is, you know, they're wrestling with how do we do this? And they all want to do it, but very often they just don't really know quite where to start.
Helping people to implement that blended approach, as you've outlined, like I think that's a great benefit that they will get from you know, going through this change consultancy program. The other, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well, is pace. And, you know, because I think you're absolutely right, and we're very much aligned in terms of the steps you need to go through to build, develop and execute, you know, a best in class ABM program. But, you know, thinking about it from a marketer's perspective and the pressures of the business, I need you to get going and I need results yesterday. How can we help marketers to deal deal with this environment, you know, this pressure to deliver results quickly, given that it takes time to really develop and embed an ABM program?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing challenge. I think most people who want to do ABM typically have, you know, large complex solutions. They've got long complex sales cycles, you know, a decision-making unit that could be 10 to 20 different people within the organization. And typically when I talk to clients, you know, they're talking about a sales cycle that might be 6 to 12 months, sometimes 12 months plus. And then you've still got the pressure of quarterly revenue targets and hitting your numbers. So this is definitely a challenge for ABM. And I think it is about really setting expectations up front and having the courage to say no or to really manage the process. But simplistically, I would say, you know, for a one-to-one or a one-to-few program where you're going to be doing, you know, kickoffs, research, strategy, value proposition, messaging, creating the content, it's probably going to take you 2 to 3 months to be in market. And it may well take you 2 to 3 months to get further traction than that. Yeah. And for some organizations, clearly that doesn't feel like it's moving fast enough. So I think there is this kind of challenge for marketeers to say, we need to set the strategy for ABM and we need to set expectations. And if we're going after a, you know, multi-million-dollar deal with a 12-month sales cycle or more, then that's one school of thought for ABM. If on the other hand, the sales team are going, but we need some new leads and we need them now because we've got some quarterly revenue targets, then I think we need to think intelligently about, well, what kind of ABM would work best there? And it isn't just go and buy a platform, pump out some advertising to 2,000 companies, but it could be, we've got 300 companies in frame that all look interesting. We've worked with sales, we've looked at the industries we're strong in, we've looked for lookalike accounts, and we're going to run some intelligent communications to those accounts as an early stage, which for me would be one-to-many ABM, which as I've kind of alluded to in various posts over the last year, for me, one-to-many ABM is the new demand gen. You know, you don't want to be demand gen to companies that you don't want to do business with. That's just, you know, madness. It's a waste of time, effort, and money. But if you can actually go after a finite group of accounts that have been pre-selected, and think of lighter touch and faster ways to market to those organizations, then I think that gives you an opportunity to at least be taking a different pace to your exact phrase.
You know, we often joke, like the phrase, you know, ABM is not just for Christmas. You know, it's a way of working, it's a way of behaving, it's a way of thinking. It's very different to the old lead gen model, the, you know, stack 'em high kind of approach from an MQL model. So my view, and again, you know, love to get your closing thoughts, Rob, but it's getting the right buy-in from the beginning, the right stakeholders, as we've just talked about, and how we can support marketers get that right engagement through the business. It's establishing, in some cases, new behaviors, new ways of working as you shift from a traditional way to a new way of working with ABM. And it's being able to stay agile and flexible while still staying true true to an ABM methodology. And the framework and the support that we're looking to provide through the consultancy, or the change management consultancy, is giving people the tools and the frameworks that will help them to stay true to that and not maybe slip back into some old behaviors when times get tough. So is there anything else that you would add to that?
I think it's a pretty good summary, Ola. I mean, I think a lot of the things we've talked about are about marketeers actually having the confidence not to put their heads above the parapet, but to actually, seize the bull by the horns, if you like, and really take control of the ABM initiative. And from that perspective, I think it's about empowering the marketeers to have that confidence, to go and have grown-up conversations with the leadership team, to engage sales on equal terms, to build out the strategy that meets the needs of the business, and then not to be derailed by sales making unreasonable demands for short-term, quick wins. But equally, marketing can't just sit in an ivory tower saying, no, this is our ABM strategy, we're going after these 5, 10, 20, 30 accounts, whatever it is, and we can't help you with anything else, because of course that's not going to wash either. So I think having the building blocks and building out a really compelling strategy and knowing what you're doing at any one time and being able to say no when it's inappropriate is really what we're talking about here. So it is definitely about change, and it is about resetting expectations of what good marketing is. And I think it's about resetting the role of marketing in the wider context of how do we win new accounts and how do we grow existing business.